James Delingpole's a best-selling author, and he's also a writer on a host of big publications like the London Telegraph, and he's got a couple new books out, and we'll be talking to him. Right now he's got Watermelons out, Everything You Knew About the Government Was Wrong. Good to have you here with us today, Mr. Delingpole. I'm going to ask you what I asked Christopher Monckton last night, Lord Monckton. Is Al Gore at the edge of the cliff, tipping forward, staring into political extinction, or has he already hit the bottom and bounced, and is this a dead cat bounce that's just going to be good for laughs?
Al Gore is on top of the cliff, and he's about to carry us all over the edge with him. That's what he's going to do. It's not good news. And listen, Alex, you have given the enemy ideas. When the New World Order arrives, they are now going to put you in a room with Al Gore's voice for the rest of your imprisoned life. Don't give them ideas.
Well, I guess you do have a good point. That's why I did that economic news first and then forgot to put a bow on it. Everything's falling apart. We're imploding. China has none of these rules on it. Everything's shutting down in England, the U.S. Global depression, except in commie land where Al Gore's got companies, and he wants to slap giant taxes on everything. California's already done it and went from 30% unemployment to 35 in 6 months.
The depressing thing about all this, about the coming global economic apocalypse, which is almost upon us, is that there are quite a few people out there who actually desired this thing. This was all part of the plan. If you go back to the Club of Rome, founded in 1968 in David Rockefeller's house in Italy, by two guys, Alexander King and Aurelio Peccei, and you read what these guys are saying about our economic future, and what you realize is that these guys wanted an economic collapse. They wanted to end industrial civilization, number one, and number two, they wanted a new world order. I mean, some of your listeners have probably heard this stuff before. Let me read out one line from one of their documents. This was published in 1974. Now is the time to draw up a master plan for organic, sustainable growth and world development based on global allocation of all finite resources and a new global economic system. That is, and they call this the master plan. They're quite open about it. This was in a book, 1974, Mankind at the Turning Point. This was in bookshops. This is not a conspiracy, or if it is a conspiracy, it's a conspiracy in plain sight. These guys knew exactly what they wanted, and now they are getting it.
That's right. And so when we fight Al Gore and Lord Rothschild and David Rockefeller and all these people who've written hundreds of books, publications, End of the Family, world population reductions of 80%, post-industrial world, Maurice Strong, Hansen, Goddard Space Center, this is their religion. And they mean to carry it out. And so when we're fighting the man-bear pig, you know, I like to joke about it, but really it's not a joke. I mean, they're even calling themselves green fascists now. These are authoritarian control freaks. And what's even scarier, they don't even think they're saving the world. It's all a cynical way to seize total power.
Yeah, I was talking to the leader of the British Green Party the other day, and I accused her of being a watermelon. You know, that's green on the outside, red on the inside. Do you know what she said? She said, I'm proud to be a watermelon. So these people are, as you say, completely upfront about what they want. You've got the Prince of Wales, our future king. He has just been made head of WWF UK. He said that we should all look forward to reducing economic growth, living more sustainably. Well, okay, you can live sustainably when you've got various palaces all over the country where you've got millions of pounds coming in. For the rest of us, it's not going to be easy, this new Great Depression. It's not going to be fun. You know, no matter how many Greens think it's a good idea to bomb us all back to the dark ages, we all live in yurts and subsist on grains. Actually, some of us would like an economic future for our children. Some of us would like to go to hospital and get medical treatment. Some of us don't want a life of toil and misery. That's why human beings developed. That's how Western civilization happened. We wanted to improve our lot, not make it worse.
That's right. We watched our children starve to death, so we invented technologies. And what's sick about it is when you really get into their latest technocratic system, they plan for us to run around like Eloy and loincloths, those of us that are allowed to continue, while they are behind technotronic, high-tech national security reservations with their police helicopters and drones flying above us. When you really get into their writings, they're delusional. They think they're God.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone in their right mind could wish for what is coming to us. But the fact is that you look at the writings of the Green Movement, everything from the Club of Rome to Paul Ehrlich's population bomb to Rachel Carson, Silent Spring, these guys all wanted the same thing. It's a religion based on anti-science. Because look at the facts. We are entering a solar minimum. A solar minimum like we had in the 19th century, early 19th century, when we had the famous year without a summer. We had a solar minimum like we used to have in the days when we had ice fairs on the River Thames. Now we're entering a period of global cooling. There has been no global warming since 1995. Even Phil Jones at the University of East Anglia, one of the arch warmists, admits this fact.
So that's why we have emails from years ago saying, hide the decline.
Hide the decline. That's what ClimateGate was all about. And I've written about this in this book, Watermelons, because it is very scary. These guys are totally upfront about what they've been doing. We're not the ClimateGate scientists, obviously, but I mean, all the evidence is there that these guys are lying to us. These guys want to destroy the global economy. But yeah, the facts are we are entering a period of global cooling. In periods of global cooling, it's harder to grow crops. That means riots. It means starvation. It means misery. Yet what are all the world's governments doing, all the world's Western governments anyway? They are making us pay carbon taxes. They are putting up wind farms, which don't even work. They are trying to deal with CO2 to stop global warming, but global warming hasn't been going on for over 10 years.
But we know that that's just their cover, that the windmills are going to fix it. It's all select boondoggles in the hundreds of billions of dollars given to their select little pet companies. When you try to go put solar on your house, which is a great idea, they won't come out in most areas of the U.S. and give you the inspection unless you hook it into the main grid. They don't want us being independent and sustainable. This system is about we're in a modern civilization holding us hostage by curtailing it. That's what it's all about, is a selective mafia takeover of industries that aren't part of the inside club.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a mafia takeover because no free citizen would actually vote for this stuff if they possibly could. For example, in Britain, we have this massive drive for green jobs, as I believe that you have in America, unfortunately. It has been calculated by economists that for every green job created in Britain by through taxes,
you lose 2 jobs.
No, in Britain, 3.7.
Oh, it's worse than Spain.
Spain was 2.2. Britain so far, 3.7 jobs lost in the real economy. It has been the same across Europe. The Portuguese economy has completely been destroyed.
But that's what Maurice Strong and Al Gore and all of them swore to do. They transfer the few jobs to their cronies while it destroys the other jobs, and they put more and more regulations on us, and everything moves to China where Maurice Strong and all of them invest and live. It's a perfect plan.
Yeah, well, China makes all the money from these wind farms. China makes all the parts. It mines the rare earth minerals for them. China is doing very well out of Western stupidity.
Now, I know you're optimistic, but at the same time, you're a realist. In a football game, let's take soccer football. I mean, were they like 2 points ahead of us, but now we're 2-2, we just got 2 goals? Or are we 3 points ahead and they've got 1 point? I mean, how would you describe where we are right now? Because it looks like we're really starting to rout them. We've gone from just their wall of ridicule and, everyone agrees with us. And, they're marching along with coconuts like they're royalty and Al Gore saying he's the king, like some Monty Python skit, to now they're on the ground with their arms and legs hacked off saying, it's just a flesh wound.
That's right. Alex, what's happened is that we won the game 2 years ago. And what's now happened is that these jackbooted stormtroopers have come onto the pitch just as we're about to pick up our silver cup and said, hang on a second, you haven't won this game. The rules have changed. These are the rules now. You're going to go to a prison camp. We've won. We win forever. That's what's happened.
Well, that's right. And in fact, I'm glad you raised that. I can tell you're getting even more hardcore as the chips get put on the table. More and more, like parrots, tell people they're calling for arresting anybody that criticizes them, and it's time to get these alarmists, and it's time to get in their face. It's time to burn down some more car dealerships and hotels in the mountains. It's time to burn down ski resorts. It's time to knock the windows out of SUVs because you got to pay your indulgence to Al Gore.
Alex, I used to think that some of the stuff you said on your show was quite extreme. The longer I live, the more I see what's going on in Europe, the more I suspect that we are heading towards a global eco-fascist new world order, which scares me something rotten. I think they are going to start persecuting so-called climate change deniers. Already you see people climate skeptics are being denied a platform in taxpayer-funded universities. These universities are supposed to be open to everyone, and yet they are shutting out freedom of speech now.
In England, they won't even deliver audio CDs of Matthew. And even if you don't agree with that gospel, or you're an atheist, now they won't deliver Bibles in the mail. I mean, this is a dictatorship. These are not liberals. These are authoritarian control freaks, and their ground soldiers are literally control freak little brown shirts. It's time to get back in their face.
Well, wait and see what happens if the EU gets its way and has political union as well as economic union. If that happens, Europe is completely lost. And then it will be, as Mark.
That was my next point, because you're in England. They now admit it's a united Europe, no sovereignty. They said they're going to get rid of the football teams and have the Euro team so you can learn to worship government. That got leaked yesterday and is now public. Zero Hedge got that, but it's since been confirmed. And now they're announcing, yes, a private banking dictatorship over all of Europe. And guess who Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan and all the big banks that are going to own this system are financing? They're the biggest financiers of the carbon tax garbage.
Yeah, of course they are. I mean, you know who invented carbon tax? It was Enron. Enron was going to be really big in carbon taxation and carbon credits and stuff. It is Enron economics. And these are scary times. But if you actually consulted the people of Europe, even in Germany, most people do not want this stuff. They do not want a European socialist superstate. They do not want to be bailing out the Greeks. Most people in Europe actually want to be able to live their lives as they choose, free. Now, unfortunately, there is a class of bureaucrats, of Eurocrats, call them what you will, who have rigged the system with the banksters in such a way that people no longer have any democratic control over their lives. The Green Movement has been very much part of that. These are the watermelons. They are using environmentalism as an excuse to create new structures, to impose new taxes, new transnational regulations like the one that Gibson Guitars got done for the other day in America. They were prosecuted under this ridiculous law which says that even if you infringe environmental laws made in India, then you are liable for imprisonment.
No. This is the new global database. A guy shot a deer in the state and didn't buy the right stamp for it. So now it says he's globally banned from hunting anywhere. And now they're saying we're under foreign laws. But even in the India case, they're saying they didn't violate the law. This was value-added wood. It's not endangered. But they don't care. And expanding on that, here in Austin, I talked to some of the city people where they come in and turn the parking spaces the wrong way on 6th Street for bike lanes. And the bike riders get out in the highway, on major highways, on purpose, like it's theirs, and are very aggressive and hateful towards cars. It's like a cult, and I like bike riding. And they say, we're not going to have fuel in cars anymore, so you must ride bikes. Well, we're not set up in compact cities where you can even ride 5 miles to work. It will destroy our society. And Harry Reid says he's not worried about the Great Depression. He's tackling the issue of bike paths nationwide. So instead of fixing, listen, 20 years ago, we had great roads in Texas. Everywhere I go, they're rotting. Interstate highways have potholes. It's like I'm in, the roads are better in Mexico, James. I can't take it. They're wrecking my country.